Alright, this came out a couple weeks ago, but I need to watch this. I love this guy. Half-Life 2 VR is a nightmare by upisnotjump. Oh my god. These fucking videos are like a trip. A trip. Alright, Half-Life 2 VR is an absolute nightmare. This is why. Let's go.
Emma dyed our hair, and now we both accidentally look like Team Rocket. Pose, pose, pose. It's kinda cool, I guess.
Okay, let's begin.
What an intro.
Rise and shine, Mr. Jump. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you've been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest. And all the effort in the world would have gone to waste. Until, well, let's just say your hours come again.
You never played Half-Life, Phoenix? I've played a bit of the first one.
I was having this awful dream where the world was being run by this evil group of dictators that controlled our every action while also needlessly destroying the planet, all for their own personal gain.
Oh my god.
Half-Life 2A, released in 1974 by everyone's favorite game developer, Fawcett, it pushed the boundaries in what we believed card-based games could do. No, not really. Half-Life 2 is a first-person shooter where you play as Gordon Freeman, a big science nerd who is into theoretical physics and bashing out brains with a crowbar.
Yeah, I've mostly just watched other people, like, I followed on YouTube, like, back in the day, play Half-Life 1 and 2. I've always wanted to play them, but my backlog is so huge on what games I want to fucking play. I know I want to stream playing it for the first time. But, like, they look fun and interesting. But my god. You watched the parody series? Never looked like something you'd like? Yeah. Yeah. It looked like something I would be interested in, but whether I'd actually like it, that's the question. I've liked watching other people play it, so. The full life consequences videos.
Speaking of scientists, I thought I'd dress up a little bit. And
Only Half-Life thing I saw was a
things could
VR
use a
thing
little
where
bit more
someone
life.
missed all the shots
I
and
didn't
threw
play
the
Half-Life
gun.
1 or 2, so I don't really have any nostalgia for this series. I do think they're very good though, okay? You can drop the pitchforks. But since these games are most famous for pushing the boundaries of what was possible at the time, if you play them today, you've missed the pushing of the boundaries, and all you have to document that they've moved are the skid marks on the floor. I mean, rave all you like about how revolutionary the Beatles were. Listen to them nowadays, and it sounds like someone's bashing a tambourine in one ear and talking in reverse in the other. I actually do like the Beatles too, so again, drop the forks.
what makes this series truly great is how perfectly its story is told. And quality storytelling, it ages like a fine wine.
In Half-Life 1, a dimensional rift opens and the base you are in is subjected to a cavalcade of kooky critters. The intrigue that pulls the story along, though, is not only where these monsters came from and who sent them, but their fabulous morphology. We have psychic powers, unique ways of hunting, transformative effects, and a near illegal similarity to the creatures from Abe's Odyssey.
Now, I'm not saying that anyone deserves to be sued because of this, but something does need to be done. I at least deserve some money for pointing it out.
In Half-Life 2, said invasions have gone a bit further, and a full takeover of Earth is now happening by a much more calculating group called the Combine. The story here, though, is even more ripe and juicy. Because sure, the Combine are taking over Earth, but who are they? They weren't in the first game. Did they come through the rift later? And these aren't aliens. These are humans who have been changed in some way to fit the Combine's needs. But what did the Combine do to them, and how did they? Oh yes, and you see you're in. Let me at this game. I have to finish it. See what Valve
thing about
have
games
done
from the
is build
stands
a
that I
world
have
with
zero
all this
nostalgia for because
information
I never got to
already
play them.
worked
Yeah,
out. But the goal
same.
of the game isn't to convey
Like a lot of the
information
games
to you. This
that have
isn't
like a cult
fucking
following
Star
like
Wars.
this, I never got to play.
I heard Yoda talking about midichlorians? I've been wondering, what are midichlorians? Seriously, this dialogue is so bad. It sounds like it's coming from a Fallout 4 conversation choice. The factions in
God.
Half-Life 2 have their past and motives, but they don't outright tell you what they are. They're too busy getting on with things, and it makes for an incredibly convincing story. It's more the Game of Thrones style, before the Season 8 cataclysm. You know, Littlefinger would never have just told Bran that he was planning on double-crossing Bane. It would have just confused things.
What?
So, some incredible modders who are all smarter, more talented, and just generally better humans than me took Half-Life 2 and made it run in VR. And the quality of this free mod is a lot better than some other first-person poopy VR games that are poopy. So making games that work really well in VR is an absolute
Like, you don't get people's
nightmare
obsession with
because the
PS1
experience
graphics
is
'cause they
so
look like
full
absolute
on
shit.
that any minor issues become glaringly obvious.
Like, I don't get why
Show
I'd
them what it's
literally
like
make a new
live
game
action
like that.
past me.
I think it's more
Thank you,
just
me from the
nostalgia's
past.
sake.
It is also very
And also
important
to see
note
if
that this game is
it would
still
actually
in its
work
beta.
that way.
So any issues I'm going to talk about have most likely been fixed in the 7 years it took me to edit this video together. I mean, look, it's Gordon Freeman riding a unicycle. This shit takes time, man. So I am going to focus a lot on the negatives about this game, like I usually do, but this is one of the best VR games out there, so take everything I'm saying with a pinch of salt. And so I've split this nightmarish endeavor into 3 things that VR developers basically need to get perfect or it causes big issues.
1. Smoothness and crispness. This is all about how the game looks in VR, so obviously it's very important. And the standout feature of this mod is how smooth the frame rate is and how crisp the visuals are. I'm happy to say that it's all basically perfect. It really feels like you're there. What? Me? But I'm... Oh, wait, no, it's okay. I can do this. Picking this up is going to be even easier with motion controls. Ha ha ha! It's my can now! Oh no, he's after me! 2. Combat stuff. This game has a lot of guns, but all the aiming and shooting has been programmed into this mod perfectly. The Magnum is like the hand of God reaching down and decimating your enemies. How's it going? I love this game! And when you fire the rocket launcher with this mod, you control its trajectory mid-air with your arm, and yet I've never missed once.
I'm a pro games player.
Oh no. The weapons that you have to hold with 2 hands Look, I'm a firm believer that Valve weren't just guessing when they made Alex. They had enough people to invade a small country, so when making it, I assume they got together and said,
Monaco. We should invade Monaco.
No! I assume they said 2-handed weapons are fun in VR, but they are a little finicky. And so to me, this is why Alex did not have 2-handed weapons. What I mean by all this is when using 2-handed weapons, you've got to get your second hand to
with
the
the
base of the
disembodied
gun
hands.
and
Yeah,
grab it every time.
the disembodied
but I think
hands.
This is an issue for me because the combat
The
in this game
jank
is
shaking
already
isn't all-
quite
yeah.
busy, and this is
Also,
quite a
the fucking
specific
price
action.
just to get
I
a
have a lot of
VR
words here explaining why
gaming
the
set.
combat is so busy,
Like,
so I'm
any
gonna go
kind.
fast
Too
here
much.
for
It's
this
too
bit.
much.
Half-Life 2 VR has 11 different weapons to select from, and all of them are reloaded totally differently. 3 of these guns need you to hold them with both hands. There's limited ammo for most guns, so you need to be regularly changing weapons mid-fight. You often need to interact with other objects in the environment during fights, and some of the weapons require manual reloading between every shot. The point is, there's already a lot going on during combat, and throwing
So
two-handed
janky.
weapons into this means I now need to repeatedly and always flawlessly grab a specific point on a gun that doesn't even exist while thinking about a dozen other things, and so I'm gonna miss sometimes, and when I do, I won't know until I see that the gun won't fire. And well, it's annoying, isn't it? Remember that scene in Terminator where she reloads the gun with one hand? Can we do that? 3, interacting with the world. Okay. A lot of perfect scores. A lot of people to make unreasonably angry. So, picking up objects with your hand or your gravity gun and placing them is a delight. It's perfect. We're on cloud 9. Should we go out for dinner? The general grab controls in this game make me want to jump into that hell portal from Doom, which I've been playing lately, and it's really good. The way the controls in this game are set up, for the index at least, meant I kept grabbing literally everything around me as I walked. I'd look to my left and inevitably I'd be holding... Oh, Gordon, really? You don't know where that's been? Put that down. Ugh. Seriously, I accidentally grab everything in sight. Wheels, fuel cans, shipping pallets. Another wheel. At random times, I'd find I was shaking around like a mad person because I hadn't realized I was actually holding another explosive flaming barrel. Oh, fuck.
Oh
See, if
my
I'm
god.
standing near
I would
anything-
end up
And, you
doing
know,
that,
technically
honestly.
Everything is anything, so I'm always standing near anything. And my hand even whispers this part of the controller. It will activate the grab sensor and a plastic chair a full meter behind me will suddenly fly into view. And it is that sensitive. Even a faint kiss will do it.
Oh my god.
Oh, well, this really is just a small controls
Oh my
issue
God.
causing a pretty big problem. And I can think of a few ways to fix these issues. I do imagine the
Yeah,
demigods who
Phoenix,
made
yeah.
this mod have already tried these, but let's discuss them anyway.
That's one of the reasons why it's definitely not worth
Will
that
do.
price. Oh my
We're
god.
playing Half-Life Alex on
It's
the
definitely not
index.
worth
If
the price.
you squeeze the grab sensor, it doesn't grab faraway items. Do this. Make Half-Life VR like. Try this. See, in Alex, you actually use the trigger buttons to pull stuff over that's far away. Only when something is very, very close can you squeeze the controller to hold it. Now, this prevents accidental squeezes from ruining your day.
And oh boy, am I not even gonna touch that one. Let's move on.
A much
Oh
more
my
difficult and depressing thing for the modders to do. Again, they're working for free. They don't owe us any of this. The mod is great. Would be to add directional grabbing. In Half-Life 2 VR, your hand can grab absolutely anything within a 1 meter sphere around it, even if you aren't pointing at it. What are you looking at? See, you can put your hand out and you'll grab anything. Some pills from the right, a monitor from the left. This thing. But in Alex, your hands have a directional line of sight to the world. That is, when you point at something, it becomes selected, and that is all you can grab.
And this is particularly useful because it prevents unwanted squeezes. What did I tell you?
This may also explain why I kept not grabbing the end of my shotgun and would instead grab this, large recycling bin. Put the bin down! Outside of this, manipulating objects in the world is pretty perfect. The other controls are all really smooth and intuitive. Changing weapons is fun, moving and jumping works well. Seriously, this mod is great and you should all play it. It's just that this object grabbing thing really pulled me out of the game. I mean, I kept even accidentally grabbing stuff from the gravity gun. I don't want this!
I don't really want this either.
What?
Half-Life 2 itself is genuinely pretty good. I know, who'd have thought it? To be honest with you, I first played it in 2008, about 4 years after it came out, and I was a little disappointed.
God, that makes me feel
here
old.
come the forks again. See, by this point, I'd already played Modern Warfare 4 and Halo 3. Huge, sprawling battles, intense vehicle sections,
Halo.
a revolutionary
How
new
we
way to
have
involve
fallen.
the protagonist in a first-person shooter to this. Oh no, this is not an easy transition. I was told by everyone this was and remains to be possibly the greatest game ever made, but how? How is this possible? Well, let's investigate. So the game opens up.
The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world.
The drama.
So, wake up, Mr. Jump. Wake
The
up,
drama.
smell the ashes.
The game begins with you arriving in a city controlled by evil alien overlords, and you make contact with a secret underground resistance. And quickly you realize that this game is brimming with life. Interesting characters and set pieces, locations plastered with fine details, and engaging technology to interact with. I mean, the very fate of mankind is being discussed here, and you can instead focus your time on teleporting this cactus.
You see, what people don't realize is teleporting a cactus, it's actually pretty easy. All you've got to do is focus your attention and then... What's happened to my cactus?
The game throws so much at you in its opening hour that you can barely see it all the first time through. There are so many moving parts and ideas, it's all great.
The combat, though a little dated, also ramps up perfectly as the game goes on. So you aren't just being given bigger and better weapons as you travel through. The locations and the enemies are always changing to perfectly reflect the latest weaponry you've been given. It's a little bit like how Zelda dungeons always give you the item you need for the boss just minutes before you meet them.
Okay, so I got a boomerang and yeah, very clearly it can cut ropes. That's good. Oh, look, it's the boss. I wonder how I will ever beat this rope-based enemy. Yeah, sure, perfect 10s, that seems right. You start with only a melee weapon, which allows you to take on a few guards and destroy some physics objects. Then as you get a pistol and a machine gun, even larger groups of enemies
I have a feeling that's all I'm
going
going to do if I play these games. Just blow myself up
gives you a
constantly.
weapon which literally lets you storm the beaches. And by the end, you're taking on the whole citadel, which has loomed over you the entire game, and you get to use the full arsenal you've collected over the game to do so. It's all just so slick and organic. Anyway, so you meet the Resistance, get separated from the Resistance, meet the Resistance again, and get separated from the Resistance again. I didn't realize this, but over half the game's story is just you trying to actually reach the Resistance so you can finally touch Eli's tempting face. Oh no, he's being taken away again. In another life, my darling. Okay, so like I said, you get separated from the Resistance again. And rather than squeezing through this very large gap, Alex says,
take Gordon to the Ravenholm tunnel, then circle around and try to meet up with me.
Whoa, Alex, I've only known you for all of 5 minutes, and I only really remember one thing you've said.
Ravenholm. We don't go there anymore.
I'm getting mixed messages, lady. Speaking of which, there is a slight romance being suggested between us and Alex.
There's nothing Gordon can't handle, with the possible exception of you.
Dad, please.
Wait, what? What was that? Eli, are you okay? You got something in your throat?
But it doesn't go anywhere for 3 obvious reasons. 1, Gordon categorically refuses to ever speak to Alex.
Man, a few words, aren't you?
2, Alex only walks backwards, if you know what I mean. No, literally, she keeps walking backwards for some reason. No one's gonna be into this, Alex. You're coming on too strong. And 3, and most importantly, Gordon obviously only has eyes for Barney.
About that beer I owed you.
So I get to Ravenholm, and I don't know what Alex was talking about. Airbnb, anyone? So in VR, this location is good. Good.
You see, Ravenholm is a zombie-filled town of terrifying death, and in non-VR is probably one of the best bits of Half-Life 2. It's really atmospheric and filled with loads of interesting set pieces that I really can't show you.
But in VR, this area is let down a little, mainly because of the absolutely terrifying xenomorph fuckers that occupy this town do get into your face. They don't seem to cause a reaction in VR.
upisnotjump has confirmed.
I don't get a red screen or get knocked back, and it's usually the same with all of the head crimes. So the threat I felt from these enemies was quickly reduced quite a bit. But there's also the section where you need to harness an army of sand monsters to storm a prison, and this whole section is far and away 100 times better in VR. You attack the prison by chucking this plump ball of hormones at
God, the sounds.
defenses. This causes the sand monsters to completely overwhelm the combined forces, and seeing this all in 3D is nothing short of amazing. It's just really fun having this army of friendly giants gathering around you. Really, almost all of these sorts of segments in Half-Life 2 are vastly better in VR. Getting teleported, jumping on trains, the walls closing in around you, being carried around the citadel, marveling as spaceships and striders travel about above you. It's like all these major segments in Half-Life 2 were made for VR, and the vehicle parts, well, we don't need to talk about, the vehicle parts in this game are completely unplayable in VR. There, I said it. I'm sorry, everyone, but we must have different organs or something, because mine completely rejected this part.
Now, if I were to give a positive review of these parts, I would say that I didn't quite throw up. Now, there's a review that you can put on the front cover.
I'd like to make it clear that this isn't a criticism of the VR mod at all, though. These driving sections have been modded into VR really well. The general movement, the controls, the shooting while driving, the jumps, the spinning in midair, the flipping upside down as you drop.
Wait, a bucket? Something's coming back to me. That's it. I know how to get through these driving parts without getting sick. It's so genius, it has to work. Yeah! We're racing now, boys!
Seriously, just recording these bits made me so unwell. Vehicle sections in VR are always going to feel a bit weird as the world flies past you at 100 miles an hour while you're standing completely still. But these sections in Half-Life 2 weren't originally designed with VR in mind at all. So rather than just being straightforward driving sections, they're filled with puzzles, dead ends, open sections where you have to constantly rotate 180 degrees to work out where you're... Seriously though, if you really need to skip these sections, all you have to do is open the command console and type in this to skip the hoverboat and this to skip the buggy section. Maybe in the future this mod could include an official option to do this.
It's kind of sad you have to use it because of commands for that.
Removal for players. Do you wish to skip?
Well, it's a bit late for that now, isn't it? Oh, right, yep. I'm dying.
Now, if you don't want to skip these vehicle sections entirely, because they are really fun, but you know you just can't handle the nausea, I do have one last sensible workaround.
Oh yeah, here we go. You can't get sick when there's 2 players, right, Martha? Martha, are you okay? She's dead! So
Oh my god!
I now quite like Half-Life 2. The storytelling and the world that Valve have put together still hold up incredibly well. But what's so good about the VR mod specifically is it takes the combat, which for me is probably the most dated part of the experience, and adds motion controls and full 3D support to it, now making it pretty much the most advanced part of the game.
This altogether really makes Half-Life 2 VR, to me at least, a somewhat timeless classic. The only major thing that I think really needs changing is the fact that I grab every piece of furniture in a room as I walk through it.
And so that's Half-Life 2 VR. Thank you all so much for
I just
watching.
imagine me like
I hope
running
you
away
enjoyed
from an
the video.
enemy and just like looking behind me and seeing like just every piece of garbage and flammable container just behind me. Following me.
Don't worry. I've returned. Oh, and would you just take
What
a
the
look
fuck?
at the Marjorie? They're all such grimy peasants. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm actually a lord now.
Oh my
Lord
god.
upisnotjump. Because with the company Established Titles, you can purchase souvenir plots of land in Scotland, which based on real historic customs allows you to call yourself a lord or a lady. I may even have gotten a plot of land to help remember Sid.
No,
Think of the
his
myriad
fucking
of
cat
uses.
is a
I
lord.
definitely think the best one would be making someone a lord or a lady as a last-minute gift. But as well as this, you could officially put lord
Finally
or lady
banished
on your
Ashley to the
credit
Shadow
cards,
Realm. Oh
plane
my
ticket,
god, Phoenix.
or even your dating profiles.
Oh no,
These
this is
title
actually a
packs give you
scam?
at least 1 square foot of dedicated land.
Oh,
with a
what he's
unique
talking about
plot
right
number
now?
on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. This process is also really awesome because Established Titles plants a tree
Legal
with every
Eagle did a whole
order,
video
and
on
they
this?
work with
Oh,
global
no.
charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. This makes Established Titles a really fun way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland. As well as this, the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link below will effectively be next to mine and Lord Sid's plots. And depending on how many of you sign up to become lords and ladies, we can build our own little upisnotjump kingdom. And they're actually
Oh my
running a
God.
massive early Black Friday sale right
Of
now.
course.
Plus, if you use the code upisnotjump, you'll get an additional 10% off. So go to establishedtitles.com/upisnotjump to get your gifts now and help support the channel.
Like it's a fake thing, you don't own the land, you don't get to be a lord. Oh shit. I hope the people that are getting sponsored by them got paid good. Oh. That was a good video though. I have not played the Half-Life. I have watched other people play the Half-Life. But the VR stuff, first of all, it's still too expensive for me. Like, lower them prices. I don't give a shit. Lower the goddamn prices. But content like this is what makes me wish I had VR, but it needs to get better in price and in everything, really. Yeah, that was a good video. I quite enjoyed that.